You introduced legislation on immigration to strengthen the border. Tell us a little bit about the bill and why it was necessary.
Okay, number one, what the hell happened at the border? We need to continue to complete the wall, but people are coming and trying to be caught. The problem we have is that the Biden administration did two things at once that were terrible. The Trump administration had Title 42 authority under the CDC Act to deport anybody who shows up at the border because of COVID concerns. Whether you're an unaccompanied minor, you're a family coming here claiming asylum, you would be turned back because we have a COVID crisis. That's an amazing authority that was well used. So what did the Biden administration do early on? They gave an exception to Title 42 deportations for unaccompanied minors. Word is out in Central America that the policy has changed, that if an unaccompanied child comes to our border, they're not going to be sent back to their home country. They're going to be processed in the United States, and they're going to stay in the United States. That's why we're having a surge of unaccompanied minors. Now, what else happened? The Remain in Mexico policy. Trump said, if you apply for asylum in the United States, you're going to have to wait in Mexico to your court date. Well, because there's a 1 million person backlog of cases, the average court date is 6 years away from the application. Under the old system, asylum seekers would apply for asylum, they would be released in the United States pending the court date, and they would never show up. So here's what Trump did. He convinced Mexico to allow these people to wait in Mexico. That way they did not have an entree to the United States. One of the first things that Biden did is change the unaccompanied minor provision of Title 42 and ended the Remain in Mexico policy. The reason so many people are coming to the border is they've heard that now you can apply for asylum in the United States, you'll be released in the United States, and 90% of them will never show up.
So has President Biden been reckless with border security in that he seems to be deciding what to do simply by doing the opposite of what President Trump did?
The definition of insanity is doing something the same and expecting a different outcome. Rejecting Trump policy because Trump did it is where we're at. It worked. The unaccompanied minor flow almost stopped because it got out in Central America that the children will not be allowed to stay in Mexico, in the United States. They will be sent back home. Nobody's going to pay $20,000 to travel to the U.S. border to wait in Mexico for 5 years.
Do you think that the Democrats want illegal immigration?
Some
and
do.
If so, why?
Well, some people want open borders. They believe we should take everybody in the world in, that all these folks are going to be Democratic voters. They hate the idea of deporting people. They hate the idea of border security. They hate the idea of walls. They really hate the idea of sovereignty. This is a sovereignty issue, folks. So what does my bill do? We do a couple things. We say that if a family comes to apply for asylum, they're going to be held together for 100 days, not 20 days, to give us a chance to process their claim. They're not going to be released, and if their claim is rejected, they're going to be deported. They'll never be allowed to be released in the United States, hoping they'll show up for their hearing. As to unaccompanied minors, we're going to change the law to say that the moment you arrive, you're going to be sent back to your home country. We'll look and see if there's any human trafficking issues here. But under our law, the only people we can send back to their home country are Canadian and Mexican children. Under our law, we can't send a child back to El Salvador. This bill changes that. The moment the planes land back in El Salvador and Guatemala with children that were sent back by the United States, the human traffickers are out of business. The moment that you understand when you apply for asylum, you have to apply in your home country or wait in Mexico for 5 years, people will stop coming to our border.